What's up, everybody? This is Joey C from Brutally Sober Podcast, holding it down in New Jersey with my man Bobby C. Bobby C, what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm over here in Huntington Beach, West Coast, California, and it's a little cloudy out. I'm looking out the window right now, but it's nice. It's I can't complain. It's about 65 out today. So we're gonna be talking a little bit. We're gonna be breaking down. Let's just say deprogramming the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, how it works today. A lot of people are doing that. I tell you the truth, I've been doing it 37 years ago, breaking it down. I was breaking it down in the meetings. I used to rewrite the big book right from my big book. I used to cross out words and put different. I used to do a lot of highlighting, a lot of research on it, for myself. So, but everybody's into this deprogramming, debunking the myths and the false truths about some things in Alcoholics Anonymous. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah, I haven't been to a meeting in over a year. I'm going to go back when they start opening up again, and I don't have to wear a mask in the basement. And we talked that we were going to be going over how it works in the big book. We're basically going to be doing a little big book study right now is what we're doing. But I had to read it because if you asked me how it works, if you asked me to explain it, I wouldn't be able to explain it. I had to go into the book and read it. And then it all came flooding back to me about about what it's all about. But when I took a good look at this and I actually, took some notes, I actually enjoyed breaking this down. I like almost everything it says. I'm gonna go ahead and just read the first paragraph real quick. All right.
Go ahead.
Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. The chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. This is so freaking long to read in the meetings. It's like it's torturous. But the first thing I wanted to point out is we rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Well, I mean, back in the day, what else were you gonna do to try and stop drinking? I mean, this was the only thing around that I know of. I don't know the history, maybe like you do, but I don't know where else you would have gone to get help if you wanted to get help other than AA or writing people letters back and forth or whatnot. There were no other options back then, so I can understand why they said that. And then they're trying to say you got to be honest with yourself, and it says there are such unfortunates, and I always thought that was such a douche thing to say. It's just like what it's like. Hey, who's that guy in the corner? Oh, that's Larry. He's one of the unfortunates.
Right.
It was like like this guy's a douche writing this book right now. But basically, I think what that paragraph is trying to say is you got to be honest, and I think you can be honest, but that doesn't mean you want to change. That's what I got from that whole paragraph right there.
Cool. That's good. I like that. I enjoy that. Let's just to the audience, to the viewers audience, like we're some big movie stars or some shit, but to the viewers, if somebody ever listens to this, we're just two average Joes, man. I call it Joes, two average Bobbies, we're just shouting this stuff out. We didn't write no books. I don't intend to write any books, even though we both could. There's no problem. I don't have a program. I don't think Joey has, he's creating his own program, but actually we are I believe we are creating our own program all along. I believe what we're doing right here is our own deal. This is our own program. Well, getting back to, how it works here. Let's just say I left Alcoholics Anonymous about 5 years ago, totally stopped completely going. And I started in 1984. So, I've been in this recovery, addiction, whatever you want to label it, deal for about 35 years. And I'm just sharing some experience, good, bad, and everything in between. I'm not telling everybody to leave Alcoholics and not stay there. If you want to stay there, stay there. I'm not, if you're ready to leave, then listen, maybe something could help you. Or if you left already, this could help you too. Joey's in it, and he's going to go back to the meetings, and that's great. So even when he goes back to the meetings, we're going to still have some type of communication back and forth. So you're going to get two perspectives, and this is the cool thing about just two regular guys or two regular women or and men or whatever you want to call us, getting together and just shooting some shit about this stuff that we kind of, we're uncovering, recovering, and discovering, our truth. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed their path. That's bullshit in itself, because I know a lot of people that say they followed their path and they went out drinking. And then as soon as they went out drinking or drugging, they always blame it on what they didn't do, the step or the book, Oh, they always got an excuse why they drank or drugged, because they could blame it on the book. I screwed up. I didn't do it right, and each sentence I'm going to break down, because I got so much experience with this shit. I heard so many stories over and over so long that they can't pull the rug over my eyes anymore. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. First of all, Joe said it all in his statement when he was talking before I was talking. He said the whole thing. Completely give themselves over to. First of all, it's not a simple program. This damn thing, the steps will give you the steps will mind fuck you. You know what I mean? They'll mind fuck you. The steps will drive you crazy before they get you sober. No, it's not a simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. Like you said, how in the hell are they going to know who's unconstitutional? Wait till we get further into it, because there are such unfortunates. They're not at fault. They seem to be born that way. I'm born, because I don't get the program. I'm born that way, right? Because I don't buy all the stuff that they're selling me. I'm unconstitutionally incapable of being honest with myself. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover from they have the capacity. In other words, the mentally sick and the mentally naturally capable, where's good? Grave emotional disorder people, they can do it, but somebody that really doesn't want to buy into the notions, they're incapable, So they're like saying I'm one level below the insane,
Well, aren't they saying the people that suffer from grave emotional mental disorders, their chances are less. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Oh, okay, yeah, right. I got you. Yeah. See, every time I read the sentence, I'm thinking of something different. But everybody, whatever you want to blame it on, everybody that's reading this or is probably watching this video, actually everybody in the world is suffering from some kind of mental illness or emotional disturbance or whatever. And most likely, if you're reading these words, it's because that's why you drank alcohol, or it's a result of becoming addicted to alcohol or drugs or whatever. Everyone's got everyone's got emotional mental disorders. There's not one person that doesn't have it.
Yeah, you want to go on and read some more? Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm going to read the next paragraph. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. Um, I always laugh at that saying, when you trying to pick your sponsor. Oh well, when you pick your sponsor, you got to pick someone that they that has what you want. And this says, I are willing to get anything. Then you are. Our stories disclosed in general what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take a certain step. There's like I can go to 10 meetings, and there could be like 50 people in each meeting, and there could be like 2 people out of all those meetings and people that I go to that actually look like they have some resemblance of what I might want to achieve to be, and it's not, I mean, that's not different from the general population, I think, but everyone in AA, no one in AA knows what the hell they're doing, and no one in AA follows a perfect program follows this the way it says you're supposed to, or the guy sitting next to you says you're supposed to follow it. No one knows what the hell they're doing, and it's just the reason I go, like I'll say it again, is because you got a good chance of someone opening up and sharing, kind of like we're doing right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, getting back to, I that first big paragraph, I could stay on that forever with this. Thoroughly followed our path. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. So I'm kind of tying on what you just said about, we're not knocking members here. We're just trying to be as honest as we can. I'm debunking and demystifying the triangle, the program, the pyramid, the multi-billion-dollar pyramid of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not knocking the members, and Joey isn't either. We're talking honestly about what we observe in the meetings. But I hung around with all my, back in them days, all my friends were not Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay. So we go into the meeting, we talk all this shit, and we praise this and talk about that and repeat this and say how great we are. And we're doing this and we're doing that. And we're on a 5-step, 5th step, and we're doing 2-step and 3-step. And, we're doing all these steps and working the traditions and going to big book meetings and all this stuff. And then I go out with my buddies and they're talking shit that you would think that they just left the bar. You know what I mean? They're doing shit that is completely against what all this stuff is saying. So I'm seeing both the real mask, when the mask comes off and the real person comes outside into the world, a lot of it is just a facade.
It's like until you church.
That's right. It's like a facade. So you put the mask on when you go in a meeting, you take it off when you go. There are many people, I'll tell you what, there's many people that are living great lives, but they would have, I don't care what program they were in or where they went, they would have been living that type of life anyhow, because they're improving their lives. I hung with a lot of people that were great people, beautiful family members, great to their wives, great to society. They're just beautiful people. And I don't even attribute that to Alcoholics Anonymous. I just attribute that to wanting them to grow. They wanted to grow, learn, and uncover and recover different things about themselves, and about the world. And I don't really think I could give that much credit to Alcoholics Anonymous for some of them people that are doing this, like that. Good, the real good, the goodness in their lives.
I'm going to read the 3rd paragraph. Hey, you know what I wanted to say earlier about this? Actually, about this whole, probably to sum up the whole thing. A lot of the the program has to do with being honest. I think that's the most important part of it, because it's so easy to BS yourself and other people. And if you, I think that they say you got to be honest, open, and willing. And I agree with a lot of that, but the honesty is the biggest part. And um, you can be honest. You can be honest with yourself and not want to change, because I was honest with myself for years about my drinking problem, but I didn't care to change. I didn't care to do anything about it, you know. Um, but once you make the decision that you want to change, honesty is a requirement for that. You have to be honest with yourself if you want to change. And I think a lot of what these paragraphs are saying, how I read it, is talking a lot about honesty. Um, this third paragraph says, at some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go. Absolutely. Um, but what are we letting go of? I don't really. I can't explain what I let go of, but you letting go what you're letting go of whatever it is that's preventing you from moving forward. Um, and you're being open and honest, like I said, and that's going to enable you, being honest is going to be enable you to be open to hearing other people's opinions and things like that. But that's a dangerous fence you're walking on, because you have to allow yourself to be honest and open to other people's, information. But you can be honest and open, or you can be easily influenced. You gotta walk that straight line. You know what I mean? It's like some people have a hard time doing that. You know what I mean? I consider myself an independent thinker, and I'm always trying to be conscious of that. So I try and be open, and I try and also stay on guard and filter the information as I feel like I need to. That's why I was completely open when I got in, and I still am. But I also at the same time have created a filter and I use it accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They tell you don't judge. Don't take anybody's inventory. That's all bullshit. I got to judge people. I judge
Yeah.
people in situations. I got to take people's inventory to see if if I'm going to, like you said, if I'm going to filter some stuff out of them. When I start hanging around with people, then I find the true person, when the real mask comes off, and I hang with them. And I hang with them. I don't care if they do some goofy shit. They're doing some, some of them are divorcing their wives and for some stupid reason, or cheating on their wives and doing this and that and being dishonest. I'm not going to judge them outside the meeting. I mean, I'm going to judge them outside the meeting and inside the meeting. And you were talking about the filter of, see, what I'm doing and you're doing, I feel we're being honest. I'm being honest about what I observe. Like you were talking about the filter, I observe these things, and I'm being honest what I observe. So it talks about, in a certain type of brainwashing mechanisms, they talk about coercive persuasion. And that's what you're talking about, coercive persuasion, a systematic effort to persuade non-believers to accept certain allegiance, commands, or doctrine about a society. So yeah, that's what I'm careful about, because it says at some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. In other words, you got to buy this 100%. You better buy all this 100%. Unless you're going to try to do it an easier, softer way. And it's not going to be our way. You got to start doing it our way, unless you're going to die. Okay. And So I got to be careful with that stuff. When it says, with all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you. We beg of you, please do it this way. Uh, be fearless and thorough from the very start. From the very start, as soon as you come in, you got to listen, take suggestions. They're not suggestions, they're commands. Uh, some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas and the result was new. We have to let go absolutely. Some of our old ideas, some of our, we come into Alcoholics Anonymous wanting to stop drinking. They tell us don't think, don't drink, go to meetings. They put the think sign upside down. They don't want me to think. They want me to erase everything about myself, and they want me to conform to everything about their self, which I mean the doctrine of Alcoholics Anonymous. That in itself is a cult-like mentality. I stayed in, but I always kind of was like, I don't buy this. Even from the beginning, I don't, just like you're doing it. I don't buy it, but I stayed in for many, many years. Well, I don't go for this stuff. I didn't start a step meeting for a year. I didn't go to one for one whole year. Stayed sober, hung with my buddies, went to AA for a year. Didn't even look at a step book. I stayed sober. So right there, it proved to me that this ain't real. Something's not right about this, because I would be drinking. Okay.
Right.
I didn't go to big book meetings for a long time because I thought the big book thumpers were just like the Christian-based religion, and I found out that was true. You know what I mean? That was true. But I did go to big book meetings though. To break it down. I went more to break it down to find out stuff about
Right.
which wasn't true
Right.
than what was true.
Yeah.
So what do we got now? Oh, and letting it go. Let me tell you something. They think they're going to come in. They're going to go into a rehab. They're going to learn all 12 steps. They're going to come into Alcoholics Anonymous, get a sponsor, and go through the 12 steps and be free of all this shit. Let me tell you something. There's people that go to therapy for 10 years and still don't uncover nothing with a professional. Okay. So you're going to go get with a sponsor that's got 6 months sober, and he's going to unravel all the inner trauma and all the stuff that's been stored in your, like Eckhart Tolle talks about pain body and all this stuff that's in your body and in your psyche, and you're going to release it and let it all go. This is what I found out about letting go of anything. It takes a long time. It's a practice.
Yeah.
A practice of letting go.
Right.
I can let go of it. I can let go of things like that today. You know what I mean? Because I practiced it for many, 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 many years. Okay. You think you're going to come in? Yeah. So go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I wanted to backtrack a little bit on what you said about the thinking. What do they say? Don't think and this and that, and your best thinking got you here. Well, no, actually, it didn't. My worst thinking got me here because I was addicted to alcohol. Now that I'm not, I'm here, and I'm thinking, you don't drink for a couple weeks or something like that, and you're not jonesing anymore. You can think, okay? For my whole life, I was either thinking about wanting to drink or I was already drinking. So yeah, that was not good thinking. But now that I'm free from that, okay, yeah, I can think, I can make decisions for myself. I can tell that this guy is not someone I want to be hanging out with. This guy may be someone who I want to listen to. This in the big book is something that I think is total crap, and this in the big book I think I'm gonna follow for the rest of my life. I can think clearly now because I'm not thinking about trying to get drunk or because I'm already drunk. Like I hate when they say that. Anyway, I'm going to read the next paragraph. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. I'm going to read that. I'm going to read the rest of it. Half measures avail us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. And then it goes to the steps from there. Now, there was one who has all power. That one is God. I don't even want to. I don't even want to touch the God thing with a 10-foot pole. I think that God is a word that everyone is scared of. I think the word God in AA scares a lot of people that might benefit from AA. Um, may you find now the I think the word God has turned into something that nobody wants to hear, even though they experience it every day. Because I think God is. I mean, because this is what I think. I think God is when you're clear and you can hear the what's going on in your head, and you can feel and you can hear what's going inside of you because you're being honest with yourself. It directs you where to go. And that direction is God. However you want to ex, however you want to explain it. You can't explain what God is. God is. I don't know what I don't know what God is. But the word God, I think it just scares too many people away. Um, I think God is just listening to yourself and being honest with yourself. I think you are under the care of yourself, not God. You're under the care of yourself, and you're open and you're letting go, continuously letting go of whatever it is that's holding you back.
Yeah. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. That in itself, it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. Some people say there's a lot of models and a lot of modalities and all that say that alcohol has no power. Look, take 3 shots of whiskey and tell me it doesn't have power. Okay, it's got a alcohol is a spirit. It's a drug. Take 3 shots of whiskey and tell me it doesn't have power. It's got power over me because it kind of controls me once it's inside of me. Okay, but some people won't agree with that. But I like to see them drink a half a bottle of booze and see what type of effect they get. Everything's a cause and effect and a consequence of the effect. And the consequences of drinking straight booze, you get kind of stupid and your thinking gets impaired and you start doing shit that you wouldn't be doing, drugs or alcohol. We're talking drugs or alcohol here. We ain't just talking alcohol. It affects you. So it has a mind. It has like a mind because it's called a spirit. That's why they call it a spirit. It's the body eating entity that is no good for the body, really. Okay. If you want to moderate drinking, hey, when I talk about on a lot of my other podcasts, I talk about, I'm not down in alcohol. You're free to do whatever you want to do, drug or drink. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Not that I don't care, but that's your choice. But I look at the alcohol industry. That's what I look at the pharmaceutical industry. I look at the structures, the pyramids, the oligarchs. I look at the pyramid of Alcoholics Anonymous, why it was designed, how it was designed. So I take a different look. But without help, it is all too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. Let me tell you something. When Alcoholics Anonymous says God, they're saying AA. They're saying AA, the care of AA, because we're going to get into the steps in our next episode probably, and it talks about made a decision to turn our will and our lives, our whole will, and our lives over to the care of God. No, they mean over to the care of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's what they mean. That's just a little con game to get you to believing everything about Alcoholics Anonymous. As we understood him, that's him. How in the hell do you know God's a him? You know what I mean? As we understood him, how can you like Joe's just saying he can't understand it. Over to the care. The care? they're going to try to take my will, my life, and my care.
Hang on a second. I told you not to mow the lawn in the middle of the day. All right.
Yeah, give them hell. They're mowing the lawn while we're doing a podcast. That's bullshit.
Bull crap. It's in the middle of Saturday afternoon.
People don't have any respect.
No respect at all. I didn't mean to cut you off. You're right in the middle.
No, I'm done. No, I was done. That God stuff in Alcoholics Anonymous. Here, look. Let me see something here. Okay, 140. Let's see. Let me get the 146. 140. Vision for you.
I'm gonna break this video up into a couple. I'm gonna slice this video up a couple times and I'll make it into a couple of different videos.
Why? How much time are we into it?
Oh, we're probably like. Well, I think we're pushing a half hour.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a shame. That's a shame we couldn't have did this segment. Okay, we're still on now. We're still live.
Yeah,
here. Yeah. You know, the big book is only what 146 pages. How many pages is it? It's really not that big. You know, the rest is just stories. It's only 85 years ago. Oh, 164 pages. Yeah. What the hell am I thinking? Okay, 84. That's it right there. That little, and they're gonna heal you with that, and the rest is just stories. They're gonna heal you with that. 85-year-old antiquated pseudo mythology on one design, one person's design, and I believe Bill W. did not design this thing. People are fooled in thinking that Bill W. was smart enough to create one of the biggest scam pyramids in the whole world. Get out of here. Because on one of our podcasts, we're going to be talking about Pass It On. And then Pass It On, you're going to see how Rockefeller, what part he played in, and Frank Amos. We're going to go down a rabbit hole next, not the next one, but.
Well, I'll have to read that book then before we do that.
Yeah, you can read it. Yeah, Pass It On. Get it.
All right, so let's wrap it up. I'm going to cut this. This will be this second half of the video. You'll be listening.
I would go with the whole thing. I wouldn't cut it.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, go with this because it's not that long. They can cut it off anytime they want.
Hey, if you guys want to hit pause button. All right, Jesus, you got to let me do everything.
Yeah, and if you don't want to listen to the rest of the half, then shut it down or listen to it tomorrow or whatever you want to do. We're not here to. Look, I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. I'm not here to tell you anything. You do whatever you want to do. That's what I believe. The power of choice, the freedom to without labels. We're going to get into no label stuff too. Me and Joe. So stay tuned for some of the other podcasts coming up. And Joe's got some stuff. He's probably got to go to Home Depot. He lives at Home Depot and shop. He lives at Home Depot and Shop and Stop. If you listen to Brutally Sober, and he's going to put this out anytime he wants. So you could press unrecord anytime you want, Joe. Sign out.
I tell you what, I'm trying to get sponsored by Stop and Shop and Home Depot. They're not returning any of my emails. But I'm not going to Home Depot today. I'm going to my parents tonight. I'm celebrating my 40th birthday. My birthday's on Wednesday. I'm going to be the big 40. All right.
Wow. Happy birthday, my man.
So sober at 40. And anything I say in my podcast, Brutally Sober Podcast at anchor.fm. All right. And here, I could change my mind tomorrow because half the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I don't know it's about to come out of my mouth, and it's what I'm feeling right now. The majority of what I say is what I've thought about probably for a decent amount of time, and it's actually what I think. But also a lot of it, I could change my mind tomorrow, based on what somebody else says. Okay, and I think it's great that me and you could have a conversation about AA and have similar outlooks on it and a lot of different opinions on it. And I think it's just great that me and you could have a cool conversation about that. And I hope other people can appreciate that too. I don't think it happens a lot.
Right on. All right. Joe and I, this is Bobby C. from Anonymous Addictions at My Truth About AA, private group. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Anchor also. So, Joe, we'll see you later. Stay on. I want to just chat with you after the recording.
All right, Joey C. signing off.